Hello everyone. Do I look a little bit witchy? It's just that it's so cold here in the studio. I think I got a little bit of a slight fever from being so cold here yesterday because I didn't have any guests, and so without the extra body heat, I was freezing Monday night. And then when I got home, when I woke up the next day, I was like not feeling well. So I prepared today with my warm coat. Let's talk after this. Jam88.3, that is Fusebox with Araw, and on top of that is Rico Blanco, your universe. Good evening, my name is Roanna, DJ Ro for Rock and Roll, all the way till 9 o'clock. And for tonight, we have got at 7 o'clock Tooth or Dare with Dr. Jonas Apostol and Elaine Apostol of Apostol Cosmetic Dental Center. So we're going to be talking about the deeper sort of purpose of dentistry and all of the other stuff that's involved with that. So if you have questions about dental health, cosmetic dentistry, this is your chance to ask away because we have the doctor in the house later on at 7 o'clock. And then at 6:30, she says she's going to be late, but we'll see what time she arrives. Miss Universe Singapore 2023, Priyanka Anuncia, is going to be checking in to let us know what's been new with her. She's going to, tell us why people call her beauty and brains. She's a beauty queen, but also with a degree in criminal law, just to mention a couple of things about her. Also, later on today, we have some WAKI and the Winstons arriving at the studio to share with us their track called Yugto, so wait for them. I know it's hella traffic out there. I mean, it is a hump Wednesday, so I'm guessing this is when everybody's out at work or getting home from work or getting out to do something, just, trying to get through the week, right? So hopefully you've had a great week. Yesterday, sorry I wasn't around. I wasn't feeling too well. I think it was because I got really, really cold in the studio yesterday. I didn't bring a coat or a jacket because for the last couple of weeks, I've had a full studio every single night. And so I didn't feel the need to wear jackets because there's a lot of bodies in the studio. But yesterday, Monday, I just was by myself, like how I normally would be, like many, many months ago. And so it was freezing cold in here. So I think I kind of got something. And so I wasn't feeling well yesterday. I'm still kind of like not 100% today, but hopefully I will be by tomorrow because I still have a whole lot of things to do for the weekend and definitely a lot of things happening for next week. Speaking of which, I do have a contest that we have already started on the Jam88.3 Facebook page as well as on Instagram. Remember, this is for tickets to Sigma Asia happening this coming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's June 1 to 4 actually, but you pretty much get to see the exhibit and you get to witness some of the different stages that will have speakers, and this is really something that a lot of you guys, if you are young businessmen or you are pretty OG in the entrepreneurship world, something that you would definitely want to be a part of because you'll definitely be rubbing elbows with CEOs and the bigwigs of the corporate industry and across all digital platforms. So if you want to win those tickets for you and 3 of your friends, all you have to do is go check out the post that I have for Sigma Asia, and all you have to do is comment below that post, tag 3 of your friends you would like to bring with you to that event, and if you get chosen, well, the whole lot of you get to go. Isn't that cool? You don't just get to go alone, because you might not go alone if you're just by yourself. If you get to go with 3 of your other friends, then it's going to be like a cool, sort of educational, networking, socializing event as well for the 4 of you, but also for, who else you get to associate yourself with and just, build a connection with and expand your network, right? So make sure that you check that out. The tickets are worth 100K for 4 people. It's about 25,000 pesos per ticket. So these are not cheap, guys. So you wouldn't want to miss out on this contest. In the meantime, how about we play a little bit of Mad Fish with Tambay number 1 right here on Jam 88.3, where everything rocks. It's okay. It's
Wala lang
alright.
traffic.
Wala, halos lahat nga nung guests ko malilate.
Okay. Sorry. Nice to meet
Ikaw,
you.
will it just be you?
Waki. Yeah.
Hi.
All my other bandmates are at work
Ah,
or
okay.
school.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Sige. Here, I have the... Hi, guys. Okay, Wacky is here of Wacky and the Winstons. So we have a Facebook Live.
Cool.
Kita ka ba? You just can't have the... No, so if you want to hear the audio, just use your headphones. I think to adjust the volume is there.
Okay.
So where'd you come from? Saan ka galing?
Work.
What's your work?
I teach guitar.
Okay.
Nasa Tomas Mora to.
Okay, Quezon City.
Yeah. I left mga 4:15.
Oo.
Yeah. Rush hour.
15, grabe.
Rush hour kasi.
Oo, yan talaga yung time niya. Okay, we're going live in 30 seconds.
Okay. Pati yung next guest mo malalate.
Ha? Mm-mm.
Miss Singapore,
Baka
no?
7:15 pa daw siya makarating.
Si Miss Singapore?
Oo. Saan naman galing BGC?
I see, I see. Rinig ba here yung talk back natin?
Ha?
When we talk? Rinig ba
Only when I turn on the mics.
okay.
Pero right now, the Facebook Live can hear us. Whatever we're talking about here in the studio.
Okay.
Jam88.3, that is Madfish, tambay number 1. And this is somebody in the house who is from Wacky and the Winstons. We got Wacky. How are you today?
Hi, hello. Good evening. I'm fine. The traffic's bad going here, but tuloy.
Yeah, it's the 6 o'clock rush hour, man.
Yeah.
Wala nagbago. I think this is worldwide. It's a
Worldwide,
worldwide thing,
6
diba?
p.m.,
That's like
yeah.
the rush hour. 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Yeah,
That's when the
6
rush
a.m.,
hour
6
like
p.m.
hits. So tell us about Wacky and the Winstons. I mean, what's the history? How did you guys form?
So Waki and the Winstons formed during the pandemic.
Okay.
But we weren't called Waki and the Winstons yet. Around my fresh year in UP, because I studied in UP, I met my bassist, Leonard. And then, we were playing a couple of shows around the school here and there. And then, during the pandemic, obviously, hinto lahat nung tugtugan. And that kind of sucked for a lot of us musicians.
Yeah.
So I started writing during the pandemic, started writing songs. Because before this, I just played guitar.
Okay.
I didn't even really sing. And then I would send Leonard my demos. And then he'd work on it, he'd add stuff. And I thought, hey, we worked pretty well together. So let's get bandmates and let's form a band that's ready for
during
live.
the pandemic, like remotely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back in the Winstons, how we work is I write all this. It's my band, so I write all the songs. And my bandmates, they obviously, I give them the freedom to write their parts. Like, oh, you think this sounds good over my song? Okay, let's try it out, stuff like that. And yeah, essentially it's my songs. They get to write their parts, and then I get to hear how they improve my song, and then yeah, that's how we get our sound.
Okay, so since you guys have formed and syempre, things have opened up and stuff, where do you guys usually perform?
Right now, we've been performing a lot around Pobla area.
Okay.
So that's another, mahirap mag-park doon. But other than Pobla, we've been around QC a lot. A lot of our members are based in QC.
Okay.
And yeah, QC and Pobla usually.
Okay.
But the bars around Pobla, Sari Sari and Kashmir, we've played a lot there. Shout out to those venues. And in QC, 70s Bistro. Where else? Mo's, Unknown 13, around Katipunan, Maginhawa.
So how old were you when you first started learning the guitar?
I was
Because you're
9.
from a musician family, right? I mean,
Actually, no.
no,
No.
you're not.
It's just me and my mom.
Yeah, well, you know, your mom's pretty legendary too, so you
Yeah,
got
I
that.
get.
You got that in your blood, right? So,
But
I mean, I'm
usually,
sure you were exposed when you were a young kid. Well, she was like probably practicing or jamming with her
yeah,
band,
yeah.
right? So, how old were you when you first like really gained interest in music?
Um, it's hard to say because I wanted to learn how to play guitar when I was 9 because
Okay.
one of my friends were doing it, and I thought, oh, cool. That sounds like fun. And then during that summer, I had like one round of lessons, and then after that, I thought, oh, I don't need to take lessons anymore. I'll just watch YouTube to
Oh,
understand.
self-taught.
Self-taught.
Okay.
And then I think after a few years, I kind of let it go.
Uh huh.
Did other stuff. And then around 16, I started seeing my classmates also do band stuff.
Yeah.
You know how high schools have, oh, at the end of the year, you can perform, form a band, stuff like that for students to showcase their talents. So I started participating, playing music with my band, with my high school band. And then after that, I thought, oh wow, this is like fun,
Yeah.
you know, and I want to keep doing it. So I started learning how to sing, started learning how to write, but I started officially learning I was 9, but I picked it up again when I was 16.
Oh, okay. So you had a time where you didn't.
Like
Play
I knew how
guitar.
to play,
Yeah.
and I
But
would
you
play
weren't
every
like
now and
serious
then,
about
but I
it.
wasn't serious. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're the songwriter for Waki and the Winstons. When do you know that the song is done? Like when you're writing a song, because sometimes diba, it's difficult to say, parang may kulang pa eh, or okay na to.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, how do you know that it's done?
Well, each song is different because what worked for the previous song might not work for the next. So, um, how would I say when I know it's done? Mm, I think I'd separate them into two kinds. First one is I'll play the music, I'll play guitar, and then I'll think of the chords that I think could work, and then maybe I'll record it on my computer or my cell phone.
So you start with the guitar riffs first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, for this one, this, and then.
Are we talking about Yugto? The song that we're
Ah,
gonna
no,
play?
no, no,
Okay.
not yet. But I would listen back to the chords, and then I would think of lyrics, stuff like that, and then sometimes, on the other hand, what happens is sometimes I'll just sit down with a guitar
Yeah.
and then sing, and the next thing I know is like, oh wow, a song.
Yun yung the best, diba?
Yun yung
Yun yung effortless.
Yung
So, was
effortless.
there ever a time that you were surprised by how you came up with a song? Was there ever
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
shocking moment? Can you tell
Yeah.
us about that?
Oh, yeah. But before I get there, to answer the previous question, no matter how the process, no matter what the process is for a song, I could tell if it's done if I could listen to the guitar and vocals alone and think, okay, this sounds good.
Okay.
And as for that next question, actually, this current song, Yugto, is an example of, wow, I wrote this because di naman ako ganun kagaling mag-Tagalog. Marunong ako makipag-usap.
You're better with English talaga.
Academically and writing,
Yeah. So how did you end up writing a Tagalog song?
Okay, so I wrote the riff, I wrote the chords, and I kept it in a loop, and then I sent some of it to Leonard like I usually did. And then I was just singing over it, and then I came up with the melody, na 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 na, that one, right? And then I thought, oh my god, if I write this in English, it might seem so awkward, or it wouldn't, yung bigkas nga, di mahuhulog sa melody, sa feel, and then I thought, oh my god, this sounds better in Tagalog, but I'm not so good at writing in Tagalog.
How about let's listen to it now, yeah?
Sure,
All right,
sure.
everyone,
So,
here it is. Wacky attempting at his Tagalog, but I'm pretty sure it sounds good because we picked it for today. Here it is, Wacky and the Winstons with Yugto on Jam 88.3, where everything rocks. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
You can hear it?
Yeah. Thank you.
So this is Leonard on the bass.
Yeah, that's Leonard.
So right now they can hear us off the Facebook Live. So this is like a backstage access.
Yeah.
Because they can't hear this, they have to go on Twitch.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, my bandmates, kasi we're a mix of like working people and people still in school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I asked them, you guys, my class is until 8. Like, okay. Sige.
Hindi pwede.
Yeah.
It's okay. So like how many Tagalog songs do you have in your repertoire?
What we have released now, we have 3.
Okay. Out of how many songs?
I have
Majority are English.
I have about 15 now. After writing Yugto, I told myself, okay, sa totoo naman kasi kung if gusto mong pumatok sa masa, kailangan mo mag-Tagalog Diba? So I started practicing how to write in Tagalog. And then now we have about 15 songs.
Okay.
Aside from the ones that are released already. So overall we have like 18. So right now I'm just at the phase of quality check. You know, checking
Before
which ones
release
pass. Yeah.
What does Yugto mean?
Chapter.
Chapter.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like the song is saying, this is a chapter in my life I'm gonna get past.
Sige, when the song ends, I'll ask you to kind of tell us a little bit about the song.
Sure.
What it's about.
Okay.
So how many kayo? How many members?
5.
5 members.
Yeah.
So you have someone on the, what is that? Is that a saxophone?
We programmed yung chords.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll explain a bit about
sige.
pero that might be better sa live.
Yeah, this is the live.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm hearing a lot of different instruments.
It sounds like a big band.
Yeah,
Pero 5 lang kami.
Okay. Even the piano?
The piano is
your band member?
a band member.
Okay.
So may playback to sa Twitch.
Huh?
May playback to sa Twitch.
Oh, Twitch is playing right now. They can hear it on Twitch. And then here, hindi nila marinig kasi they're hearing us instead.
Yes.
Because Facebook will flag it.
Yes.
Jam88.3, that is Yugto from Wacky and the Winstons. And we got Wacky himself right here in the studio to tell us a little bit more about this song that sounds like a huge, huge group of a band, right? Because we hear some trumpets, we hear some, some sax as well, I think. Yeah. So explain to us, how you've got how many members in the band?
Okay, so we have 5 members. And while we were writing the song, Leonard and I knew we wanted to add horns, a horn section. But horn players, they cost a lot of money. And, we're still independent. So what we did...
they do? I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, they do.
Because I guess it's not as common as like guitar or drums. Is that why?
Yeah. And getting session musicians, that's what they're called if they play for your band, but they're not really part of the band.
So it's not as common, right?
It's not as common.
Guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, we recorded at this place called Sandugo Studios, owned by our friends Curran and Hannah. Shout out to you guys. And when we were recording, we made sure to have the basics down, which is drums, bass, both guitar parts, and keys,
Mm.
piano.
Yeah.
And to make it sound big,
Yeah.
bigger band, we had to program different horn sections and different sounds, and then we would layer different guitar parts on top
Mhm.
of each other.
So how do you perform it live? Do you perform with a laptop then, and you play along with it?
Okay, live, normally we play along with a laptop.
Uh-huh.
That's called backing tracks.
Yeah.
But it really depends on the gig. There are some gigs where I think we're required to sound louder,
Mhm.
or not necessarily louder but more full.
Mhm.
And there are also some gigs that are more intimate and smaller space. So
So you do away with the other
we get actually we get away with performing this song without the horns or without the laptop.
Oh, okay. Because it's live,
Yeah.
it sounds different
Yeah.
anyway, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're thinking, oh, live, I think the biggest impact is like the bass and drums and the
Mhm.
groove.
Yeah.
And especially if it's like a noisy gig, right, or
Mhm.
area, not a lot of people would notice if
The other,
there are horns
yeah,
or if there's
the wind
anything playing in
instruments,
the
yeah.
So it really depends on
So I think you'll need more mics also for that, di ba? Kasi
yeah.
if the place only has like, two mics or three
Oh,
mics,
no,
parang,
they connect straight to the house.
oh really?
Yeah.
Ganun ba yun?
Yeah.
Ah.
So, bale, yung laptop, usually nakakonect sa drummer
Yeah.
para siya yung makakarinig ng timing, ganon. And then, once he presses play on his laptop, nakakonect siya sa house,
Right.
sa bar sound system,
Mhm.
and then maririnig yung
No,
isolated
right.
horns.
Pero kung naka-live na mga wind instruments, you need
Oo.
more mics.
Oo.
Di ba?
Kung live na wind instrument, we would need to pay session musicians. Tapos kailangan event siya na
Kailangan kasya sa stage.
yes,
Kasi
na
kung
will
kunyari, 10
accommodate
kayo.
us.
Tapos ang liit ng stage, paano yun, di ba?
Oo.
Magkakauntugan sa,
Di
sa
mahirap.
instrument. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So tell us about the song Yugto. I mean, when you wrote that, what was the song like for you when you wrote it?
Okay, Yugto, the difficult thing about writing Yugto was when I came up with a melody line
Mhm.
and I came up with the chords. There's no logic behind this, but every cell in my body was just telling me this song has to be
Mhm.
Tagalog.
Okay.
Hindi to pwede maging English.
Talaga? Okay.
I don't know. It just so
Your intuition.
yeah, my
told you.
intuition told me it should
Yeah.
be in Tagalog. So then I started writing it, and obviously the question of what am I gonna write this about started to pop up.
Uh-huh.
And I think at the time I wrote it, I had ako kasi medyo indulgent ang tao. So if I like something, it's
Magbubuffet
like
ka.
yes, yeah. And I think at one point in my life, around the time when I was writing that, I was too dependent
Uh-huh.
on. Yeah, it felt like I was letting other things outside of my life control it.
Mhm.
You know, and I wanted to write about how like yeah, I know naman na my choices don't land me in the best position
Mhm.
in life, but wait a minute, I'm getting out of this rut, you know. That's what Yugto means. It's a chapter, and the song is supposed to be Yugto is basically recognizing your own faults, your own destructive habits, and promising yourself, hey, I'm getting out of
So
this.
some self-reflection, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What was the strangest compliment you ever got? Have you ever gotten any strange compliment? It's a compliment, but it's strange.
Strange compliments. I think I only get strange compliments.
Lahat na compliment mo strange.
Yeah.
So was I right in asking that question then?
A little. Pero ano nga ba yung weirdest na compliment?
Sige, pwede mo gawing top 3 since marami pala.
Top
Lahat
three.
pala strange.
First one is when people talk about like, oh, your voice is so raspy when you sing. Or you sound so different when you sing
Kasi when you're talking,
compared to my
ibang-iba.
talking voice. So it's like, okay, you're telling me my singing voice sounds nice, pero yung talking voice ko, di ma-trip. So that's one. It's definitely one. Second one Second weirdest one is when people start saying, "Hey, you actually look like your dad more than your mom," or vice versa. You actually look like your mom more than your dad.
Okay.
Because sometimes people who I don't know will tell me that,
Yeah. Or they just know them.
or
Like,
they just know them.
yeah.
Yeah. Pero I don't usually talk about my parents, you know.
But they probably know it from somewhere.
Yeah, they
From
probably know
somewhere,
it from
of course.
somewhere.
Like,
So
well,
then,
tell everyone now. Your mom is Cookie Chua.
so then for me, the and my dad's early na siya. Pero sometimes I think I would say that in a weird compliment because I
Yeah.
know they mean it well.
Yeah.
But it's like in my head, it's like, who are you? It's like
Or
this is a
akala ko
weird.
isipin mo, what, so I look like a girl?
Yeah.
If you look like your mom, right?
Less about that. I think it's more of, why are you saying this now? I haven't met you yet. Or alam mo yung parang weird like, huh?
But you know, if you're always on the spotlight and you're always on a stage, you don't know everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
But most likely, everyone who was watching knows you.
I'm saying this
so
as
you have to
I'm
get
saying
used
this
to
from a
that.
position of I haven't been used to it yet.
Yeah, diba?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the next one?
And the third one is, usually I get this a lot from people who see me online first.
Yeah.
But then they'll say, "Oh, you look taller than I thought," and I'm like, "So I look short?"
Yeah, it's like, di ba lang, when hindi ka magta-thank you ka ba? Or how do you respond to that?
Yeah. So I'd say yun yung pinaka,
No, but you know, maybe that's a compliment because that
Yeah,
means
maybe.
you have a big presence.
perhaps.
Diba? Yung stage presence mo is very tall,
Yeah.
right? And then when they meet you in person, you're very humble and just cool and chill. So
I'm
parang,
pretty
bigla hindi
quiet,
pala siya
yeah.
ganun kalaki, hindi pala siya ganun katangkad, diba? It's just because, I don't know, when you go on stage, right? Do you feel like you change persona? You become like a different...
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're a different person, diba?
Completely different person. Actually, it's funny kasi pag may show ako, before the gig or after, it's like, it's so hard. It takes everything for me to talk to people.
Because you're shy, you're an introvert.
Not necessarily shy, I think tired.
Tired?
Yeah. It's like, it's a social battery, you know. It's like, oh, I've been going around all day, I've been playing. So it's like, okay, it's kind of hard for me to start conversations from outside of people I'm close with.
Yeah.
But then once I'm on stage, it's like I have
You have to connect with
have to
everyone.
perform it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually that part was the biggest struggle with starting music.
Mhm.
Because before I just wanted to be like, I'm good at guitar. You know, it would be nice if I could just play a cool solo and then everyone loses their minds. But that's not how it works. You know, you could play some really fast stuff,
Yeah.
but if you're not engaging with the crowd,
It's true.
or you could play really cool stuff, but if the crowd isn't engaged, then no one's gonna care. No one's gonna look at what you just did, right?
Can you give some tips to, young musicians out there trying to do the same thing you're doing, trying to get out of their comfort zone when they're on stage? How can they get out of their sort of like maybe shyness or that awkward feeling so that they can connect with the crowd and feel like they can be comfortable and confidently do it? What do
Okay.
you, di ba some people say,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to imagine everyone's naked.
Yeah.
But no, they're more embarrassed than I am.
Ang sa akin-
Because everyone's naked. What's
Ang
your
sa akin
what's your
yung
technique?
masabi ko doon, because for us musicians, we're constantly told about etiquette with practice. You have to
Mhm.
show up to practice knowing your parts,
Yeah.
and you have to show up to the gig na
Prepared.
prepared.
Oo.
Yeah. But part of the preparation that a lot of people aren't able to implement yet, and something I struggled with when I started, is practicing what you do outside of the music. So, my number one advice to younger musicians now, especially the musicians who want to front,
Mhm.
because it's different. It's a different story if you're just
If
playing.
you're the instrumentalist,
If you're the
you
instrumentalist,
can just focus on your instrument.
Yes.
If you're the singer,
If
you
you're the
have to make eye
front man,
contact
yes.
with the people, diba?
Yeah.
You're the leader of the group, so you
Yeah.
have to be the one leading the energy,
Yeah.
right?
So what I suggest is practicing in front of a mirror.
Okay.
So you look at things like your posture.
Uh-huh.
Do I look awkward? Because even if you're able to talk comfortably, if your body language is
Yeah.
shy, then people are gonna have a hard time connecting.
Right.
So you have to practice in front of a mirror with your guitar on
Yeah.
if you're playing, and then you practice the things you do. For example, transitioning between song A to the next song. You try to think of things like how long should I spend before playing the next song? What should I say between this and that?
To the crowd?
Yes.
Ano yung mga spiel mo, di ba?
Yeah.
Yung mga dialogue mo.
Yung
Mga
dialogue
kayo dyan,
kasi,
mga ganun.
if masyado siyang scripted,
Oo.
ang tight ng delivery eh. So, it's not necessarily that write down what I'm gonna say and then say it and then practice saying it. But it's more of, okay, start ng set, may dalawang kanta. In between these two songs, I'm going to put a really short spiel, meaning sobrang ikli lang dapat. And then towards the latter part of the set, I'm going to have there's going to be a section where my bandmates play the music, but we're not starting it.
Yeah, ano lang, pang hype lang.
Yeah, pang hype lang. So then, okay, this section, dito ako magsispiel ng mahaba. Okay. So, another advice I think is dividing. For example, for the younger musicians, for example, you have an upcoming gig, and then you already have your set list. So you try to look at the gaps between songs based on things like the song's energy, and how long na yung set. For example, after this song, is it midway through the set? Are we almost done? And then you look for those windows and you try to tell yourself, or you try to find out which song or which part should I spiel for longer, or when should I just give a shorter spiel? When do I introduce my bandmates, myself? When do I plug our socials? Yung mga ganon.
Well, but those are like really important, I think, because a lot of bands sometimes they don't really consider those as important aspects of the performance. Kasi so long as you sound good, diba? And you're having fun, yun na importante. But
that's how I used to think.
You have to break it down into a science also, right? And kind of dissect it to figure out how you can put out the best performance based on the many things that you do. So how do you think is it best to end a show? End a show with an upbeat, loud song, or like upbeat song, or start with an upbeat song?
I think it really depends on each band. But
how do you guys
mahaba ako, so I'll just go with how Winston's does it. We like to start with something strong, but it doesn't necessarily have to be loud.
Okay.
During this section, I asked my bandmates to just play and jam out, because this is where we'll check for levels. Okay.
So parang sound check na rin
sound
siya,
check,
no?
yeah. So okay, this part, dito kami magbababa ka or akyat ka, ganon. And then once we have that figured out, once our sound is good, we'll jam for a bit. But the jam is a way to conclude the jam and then transition to the first song. And then the first song usually has to match the energy of the jam.
Okay.
You know, it's typically
parang
upbeat.
Segue lang siya.
Yes, typically a bit more power. And midway through the set list, this is where we'll put in. What I'd like to do is I like to divide the energy. So sometimes for the second or third song, I'll play one of our songs, Don't You Dare. It's a slower ballad, blues type of song. And then I'll play another unreleased song that's a little more upbeat, but it's not blasting your ears. And then we'll close the set off with Yugto.
With the Yugto, the one that we played.
Yeah, because it's pretty loud.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Well, thank you so much for all the tips that you just shared.
Thank you for
I'm
having
pretty sure
me.
that you have, a lot of years of being a witness to your mom's musical prowess.
Yeah.
On how to do it right.
Yeah, I have.
Right? I actually invited her to come on as well. And
really?
just have a chat. Well, thank you so much for dropping by.
Thank you for having me, DJ Ro.
You're welcome. Do you have any shows coming up so that you can invite our listeners to check you guys out and watch you live?
Actually, June 28th in Cubao Expo.
Okay.
I think that's Fet Day, International Music Day.
We're gonna be a partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Expo stage?
What?
In Cubao. We're in Cubao.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Ah.
I guess there's a lot of different ones. I know
There's a lot of-
Carpet de la Musique,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
There
I
are
have-
some in I think Pobla's usually where it's
Oh, I think
very.
maybe that's in Poblacion.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have to
But
double
ours
check.
are the team that got me is in Cubao.
Oh,
By
okay.
Calm Lake Records.
Is it gonna be on the same day?
Yeah, 28. Yeah.
The same day happening
Yeah.
simultaneously.
I think June 28th is gonna have a lot of gigs throughout the different.
Oh, you guys are gonna make a
venues.
whole lot of noise.
Yeah. So if you like Yugto and you're interested in watching my band, please show up on June 28th, Cubao Expo.
Mhm.
There will be lots of bands, and stay tuned for our social media and stuff like that for updates.
WAKI and the Winstons on
Yes.
Instagram, right?
Yes.
Same on Facebook?
Same on Facebook,
All right,
and then
well-
same on Spotify, all that.
All right, well, thank you so much, WAKI. WAKI
Thank
and the
you.
Winstons right there. And there you go. Thank you so much for dropping by. It was
Thank
a
you for
pleasure.
having me.
In the meantime, I think these guys are your friends too, right? The Mox?
Which
Are
one?
they your friends? The Mox?
The Mox?
Maharlika?
I guess so.
I think so. It's like recommended by a friend, recommended by a friend. That's basically how it's been in the past couple of weeks, actually.
Yeah, us
Yeah.
in this
maybe you guys
industry,
play
we
in the
work
same
well
circle.
with referrals.
Yeah, so here we go. The Mox Maharlika on Jam88.3,
Thank
where
you.
everything rocks. Thanks, Rocky.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
So,
you so much.
You're lucky. Late yung next kong guest. Kasi
Yeah.
dapat 6:30 siya. So 6:30 siya, I would have had to cut you off. Pero
Yeah.
late naman siya, so
I
I extended it na.
Kasi
So
I
we
was
have
like,
30
oh my
minutes.
God, what if dumating out, like nag-drive out 2 hours, just 10 minutes lang
Oo,
yun.
diba? Inano ko na. Ginawa ko na talagang 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Since late naman siya eh.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's have a picture.
Yeah, sure. Solo ka lang, no?
Yeah.
Like one woman show ka, no?
Pretty much. Pati posters, pati social media, lahat na.
Ang hirap siguro nun. I mean, I think I kinda get it. Kasi ganun rin yung
Ha?
ganun rin kami ng band ko.
Diba? Kailangan eh. Minsan no choice eh.
Yeah.
Ay, hintayin natin yung dyan. Ano ba yun? Teka, wait. Hintayin ko. Pag nawala eh. Ano ba yun? Niloloko ako ah. Wait lang. Paano ba yan? We need to time it
Timing.
right.
3, 2,
Yan.
Okay.
Yan. Ayun. Finally.
finally.
Alright. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you too.
Wait. Tayo rin sa phone ko rin pala. Kahit selfie na lang.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright. Ingat.
Ingat. And good luck with your next guest.
Thank you. I'll upload this on YouTube and then I'll send you the link once it's on YouTube so you can also just share it.
Sige. Thank you.
Alright, bye.
Bye-bye.